I've already started weaving my cushion. I couldn't wait. I just really wanted to see how these colours look together, and I'm pretty happy. So we're doing honeycomb structure, and as you know from my other honeycomb video, if you haven't reviewed that, please go and review that, because that will explain a lot of things to you about this structure. But I've chosen to do a pickup of 6 and 2, and you can see that in what I've already done. Here you can see 1, 2 of these, 1, 2, 1, 2 all the way along. These ones are just spread out because I just started there. But you can see those 2 warp threads all the way along there. And then on the next sequence you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that tells me that my sequence is 6 and 2. I'll be putting all of these, the notes for the pickup and everything in the notes section. Make sure you check that and click on show more if you can't see them, and they will miraculously appear. Okay, so as I said, 6 and 2. So I've just got my pickup stick A in at the moment. I am going to put in a heddle rod for stick B, but I haven't done that yet because I was just testing out how my pattern looked. So let's go over some considerations for what we're doing here. One consideration that I've come across so far is edges. Have to watch your edges with this one. Make sure that you're going around the edge thread, which I am there. Another consideration could be that I don't have a full pattern sequence on this side. I didn't plan for a full pattern sequence. This is going to be hidden in the seams anyway, so I'm not really troubled if I don't have a full pattern repeat on the front. Doesn't really bother me. So now the sequence for what I'm doing here is pick up stick A forward while the heddle's up, and then down. And same again, heddle up, pick up stick A forward, and we do this a total of 4 times, as you will see in the notes. Honeycomb, like most patterns, is just a repetition of the same thing, which is really great as a weaver. If you have a pattern like this that looks beautiful, almost looks complex, doesn't it? I think so. But it's repetitive enough that you can memorize it as you go along. Because even when you change to pick up stick B, you're still doing the same pattern sequence. I haven't left my thread long enough there. Okay, so total of 4 times. Oops, there we go, that's better. And then we bring in our black again. So black will just be up and then down again. So here's another consideration. You want these threads here at the side to be crossed, because then when you bring your black back in, it'll catch on the edge of the yellow. It'll make a nice secure edge for you. And it keeps the edges tidy. I know the edges are going to be sewn in, but it's nice to keep things reasonably tidy. So up and down. And then we insert stick B, and we repeat the same sequence. So next time you see me weaving, I will have a heddle rod in for stick B, and then we can go over that pattern again if you like. I've been weaving along, and I did end up installing my heddle rod, and that all went fine. I've been using that to weave, and yes, I'm almost at the end of my piece actually. which is good because then I can go on to the back panel. So this of course is the front panel. Now there is something I wanted to show you. I said before about having your threads arranged at the edge, but I want to show you up close what I actually mean in case you didn't quite get that. Because I'm weaving with 2 shuttles, I don't want to be cutting off one colour and starting with another colour and cutting it off and doing that every time. That just gets to be a mess and it's annoying as well. So you can just carry each thread up the edge of the cloth as you're changing over. So I have just finished with black. Okay, so I'm just going to swap my shuttles around, bring up the yellow, and yellow is my next color that I'm going to use. You can see that if I pull that up, the yellow catches on the edge with the black, and that just naturally holds the yellow there, gives a nice edge, and sort of locks that black into place. So when I'm finished with the yellow, I'll do the same. I'll just swap the shuttles over, but I'll make sure that rather than looking like this, when they're not locked together, they look like this. And then I can keep weaving. I do have a video on my free channel on how to install a heddle rod, but I thought I'd just give you this angle as well, so that if you're not quite sure how it's going to work once you've actually installed it, this will show you. So I'm in the up position and I've got one pickup stick here and the heddle rod, which is my other pickup stick. So normally I would be sliding a pickup stick forward and weaving that way, but instead I'm using my heddle rod, which acts in exactly the same way, but we don't slide the stick forward, we pick it up and hold it up. That holds the threads up for us, gives us a clear shed, and there we go. And this is so that you don't have to worry about trying to slide sticks past each other, which for most patterns with 2 pickup sticks, you can't slide the sticks past each other anyway. So you don't have to be taking the stick out constantly, which gets to be a bit annoying. Instead, you can just pick this up each time once you've installed it, and it works exactly the same way. Makes the whole process a lot faster, especially if you need a second stick over and over. So 4 repeats of that. This is the 4th. And then I will just finish off with the black border. So there I am swapping those shuttles again. The edges are locking. And that's panel 1 done, and we can start on panel number 2. So I think I will wind my warp on a little bit first. I can remove that pickup stick because I don't need it for this part, and I can remove the heddle rod when I'm ready to do that as well. And what we'll do is just pop into the up shed or the down shed, doesn't matter, depends what shed you want to start in. I want to start in the up shed, so I'll go to the down shed. And I'm just going to put a separator in there. If you don't have a separator, just anything that's going to keep this one separated from the next one you want to start weaving. And from there, we're basically ready to go straight away. This is simply going to be a plain weave with stripes, so very simple, nice and bold and effective, and will give a nice contrast to our first panel, which is very busy and detailed, and this next panel will be a little more subdued but still very bold. Now it's up to you how thick you want to make your stripes, and to be honest I haven't decided yet how thick I want mine to be, but I'll count the picks as I go, and once it gets to the width of stripe that I like the look of, then I'll know how many picks I have to do. So that's 4 so far. And I'll keep going, and I'll check back in with you to show you my progress and let you know what I decided on for how thick to make my stripes. I'm almost finished now on this second panel. I ended up doing 12 picks for my stripes. Of course you can do whatever you like for your stripes, but if you like the way mine look, that's 12 picks. Now with this weave along, I've been a little bit less thorough than with the last one for the tote bag. And that's because a lot of you who are joining me for this weave along would have joined me for the last one. So there are lots of things that I don't need to go over. However, if you're completely new and you feel like the instructions have been a little more brief than you would like this time, you can just leave a message in the comments section asking your questions, and I can either answer them or I can direct you to another video that has already covered that topic. But don't be shy to ask if you feel like things are moving too fast for you. So in a minute I'm going to be cutting this piece off, which is always a lovely part of weaving, isn't it? Cutting the piece off, unrolling it, seeing what it looks like, and then moving on to washing. Okay, I'm all done and I'm ready to cut off. So here we go. Remember to release the tension first so you don't have threads zinging all over the place. And once this is off the loom, I'm going to put it into a warm bath with a wool approved detergent, because I am using wool. I'm using a superwash wool, which means I don't have to worry about felting. And we'll just now release this break and unroll and see what we've got. Fantastic. Okay, and I've got a lot here to work with, because you don't want to finish your project and find that it's too small. I much rather weave a little extra and have it too big than discover the opposite at the last minute. So that looks great to me. I'm going to undo all of my knots, and then once I'm finished the bathing process, where I'm going to let that sit in the warm water for a little while. It's up to you how long you let it sit for. I'm usually a bit impatient. Some people let it sit overnight. I'd say an hour or two is good enough. Probably depends on what you're making and what threads you've used and all of that. But I'm going to sit this one just for an hour or so in its warm bath, and then I'm going to lay it flat to dry. So the next time you see me, we will be doing a little bit of applique and perhaps a little bit of embroidery, and we'll see how we go with that.